Good evening and welcome to Back to School Night. I am Ms. Connor and I am the English Language Arts teacher for Team Apollo. I just like to show you some of the tools from the student view that we use in classroom, how you can best support your student for their academic success in my class, and what will be the best way to check in on their work or help them with the applications and the curriculum that we have in class. So first thing, if I'm looking at students view, I have borrowed Maddox's ID for my English honors class, as she so graciously helped me out today. So if I'm a student, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Chromebook and I would log into Hello ID, which brings up my apps. And in my class, as you can see on the sideboard in class, we have our curriculum listed, and in the bottom in another color, it tells the students which tools they need. And they know that we're going to start in Classroom. And in Google Classroom, I have our curriculum. It brings them first to their Google dashboard in Classroom with all of their classes. In my class, they go ahead and go into their English class. And there are 3 parts to our classroom. We have the stream, which just lists all of the things that have been posted, announcements, assignments, questions in order by date. In the middle, where we primarily spend our time, is the classwork tab, and our assignments are grouped together by the name of the unit or the text that we're reading or the writing workshop we're doing. Last week we finished a selection called Call of the Klondike, which was an informational text about the Klondike Gold Rush, which prepared us for our fictional story we're reading this week by Jack London called The King of Maisie May. So when students go to their classwork, the first thing that they see are the assignments. Any assignments that have been graded, for instance, their rec paragraph number 1 with video notes, where they had to pull out, they had to cite evidence from the text and answer a writing prompt. Here was the original assignment post. They scroll down, and what this allows them to do is they get a preview assignment with any resources that I attached, but then they go click view assignment, and this opens the actual assignment. Now, the assignment will have the instructions, any resources they need, and the place where they turn in their work. So for this assignment, students were told that they had to work in their groups with their partners. They had to work on their notes for their rec pre-writing. Then they had to write their paragraph in their writing journal. They had to provide digital evidence in the form of photos of their work and add it here from their drive after they took those photos. And then they had to submit it, but they have to let me know if it's on paper when they put the paper in the class basket in the back of the room. So since Mag turned hers in, I was able to grade that. And here's where she can see her grade. If there was any feedback from me on the bottom as to what she might have needed to do to resubmit that for a higher grade, if it wasn't full credit, she would see that here and she would have a chance to resubmit it. So for this assignment, she followed all the directions. She got 10 out of 10. When she wants to go back to our other assignments, we go back to classwork. And our current assignment here is King of Maisie May pre-reading videos. We've been working on that for the past couple days. Yesterday, students watched these 2 videos in class that were pre-reading content that gave us some background information on dog sledding in the Yukon, which will prepare us for reading the story of Walt, who is a gold miner in The King of Maisie May. So they watched the attached video links. They had to answer in their writing journal these 3 separate questions. And once they do that, then they could either attach a document with their answers, or if they wrote it in their journal, again, a digital backup. And then they let me know if they have their journal in the basket, if they haven't attached a digital copy, so I can grade the original. Once I grade that, again, that'll be returned to the student, and they would see their grade here once that's returned. So this is where is our springboard, where we do a lot of the pre-reading. We do some, they have video resources. They will sometimes have class discussions they have to take part in here in the classroom. Our actual stories and our text selections are found in our new curriculum called Study Sync. So to access that, again, the students go back to their Hello ID dashboard and they click on the McGraw-Hill Education tab. And that brings them to a couple different screens they got to click through. They click on their Study Sync curriculum here. Again, they click on the circles to access our assignments. And this brings them to their Study Sync dashboard. And along the top, There are different icons for various lessons that they will be assigned throughout the year. So far, we've had our first read of The King of Maisie May. So they access that assignment by clicking here. And then along the top, it gives them all of the parts of the assignment that they will have to navigate through in order. So the first thing they had to do was read an introduction and watch a short video. What's nice is they have tools such as audio.
After gold was discovered in 1896.
Which will read any text on the page. After they do a brief intro, they will have their first read. Now, on the very first read, which was yesterday in class and last night, they were to read the story and they had to annotate the text for the bold vocabulary. And what they did was they went through and they had to highlight those bold words and any context clues that allowed them to infer the meaning of that word. And then they had to go ahead and type in what they thought the word meant based on those context clues. So that was the first layer of annotations. And then today in class, they started their second layer of annotations where they have skills-focused questions. And there are directions in those skills-focused questions for where they have to refer to the text and highlight textual evidence and make annotations to explain the response. So the first one we did together in class had them go to paragraph 4 and explain how Jack London used real factual information from the Klondike Gold Rush in his story, and they are asked to explain how he changed those facts with his characters. So the next level or layer of annotations, students had to go to paragraph 4. They have to highlight the text where they find where he made those changes. They add a note. They explain their analysis of the text. They create the highlight. They add the note. Once they're done, then I'll be able to get that information and grade their annotations. Tomorrow in class, they will move on to the comprehension questions. And you can see there are 10 questions. These are multiple choice selections to navigate through each question. What's nice is they can do split screen mode, which I require them to do in class, and I encourage them to do at home, where as they're answering the questions, they can refer back to the text and their annotations to help them. So those are the comprehension questions. They click back on any tool, it just gets them out of that mode. The last part are the think questions, and here are the writing prompts. So again, they go to split screen mode where they can use their annotations we've done in class to help them answer questions where they will cite specific textual evidence to support their answer. And again, this is where the annotations are pretty crucial. So they're practicing annotating the text, digging deeper into the text to find certain elements of the text to then analyze and complete their questions. Again, they click on the tools to exit split screen mode. Again, just to go back to our reading, there's quite a few tools they have up here. Again, they have audio, which will read.
Walt Masters is not a very large boy.
Which is nice. I've encouraged them to use the audio. They always have to do 2 reads on every story. They will do a first read where they can just listen to it, and they will annotate any bold vocabulary. And then they'll do a second close read where they will have instructions on what they have to annotate with a skills focus. So that's going to be on every selection we read. I always tell them to have their numbers on because it helps them find certain paragraphs. So that's our curriculum. So anytime you want to see what your student's working on for class, you're going to go to 2 places. Again, you want to go into Google Classroom. You can ask them to log in, or you can get their ID number and their password, and you can check on them from any computer anytime by going into Google Classroom or logging into the Hello ID app and going into Classroom and McGraw-Hill. And in Study Sync, they'll have grades that are in there. They will have grades that are in Classroom, and those grades will ultimately go into Zangle. But these are going to be the 2 best places to check their progress. So I highly recommend having them show you their actual work when you want to see how they're doing or what they have due at a certain time period. So hope that answers any questions. You will be getting an invite, if you haven't already, for Google Guardian Summaries, which will send you an invite to your email to also give you alerts on what's coming up, what's due.